What's up, YouTube? Sergio Becerra II here again, my YouTube channel, Frankensteina, and today I'm bringing you all another book review video, and today we're going to be talking about The Laptop from Hell by author and New York Post journalist Miranda Devine. Now, this talks about the criminal acts and debauchery of President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. So, I'm pretty sure we all know about Hunter Biden and what he's been accused of as of right now. So, one thing I want to say before we get into this was kind of a bit of my fault for not preparing notes for this video. But then again, I have it all in my head. In fact, I should have done this from the very beginning when I started reading this, because this was very interesting. So I started reading this book last year, and as you all know, I have mentioned in previous videos that I work and I barely have the time to sit down and read. And I finally got the moment to sit down and read again, and finally finished it. So I'm pretty sure there's everything to know about Hunter Biden and what he has been known for and accused of. And conservatives like myself, and of course other conservatives who are also constitutional conservative, already know the mayhem that Hunter has caused and of course done already. Not just with these criminal business dealings he's had, but also the life he's had. So let's get into the first chapter, which is very, very good. There was one time while on a crack smoking binge and uploading his own porn videos onto his Pornhub account, which was done on his laptop. At one time, he filmed himself naked while lighting up M&Ms on his erect schlong. And then there was one time also in chapter 1. Get this. He spent $8,000 on a Russian escort service girl. And here's the problem: when trying to pay for his Soliciting and Prostitution Act, he tried paying the girl with numerous credit cards which were giving him problems. And then at one point, they actually all went through, and he accidentally spent like over $50,000 just on one girl. So the girl that he was with paid it all back. Yeah, and he spent a lot of time in Beverly Hills at one hotel that's been known for Hollywood elitists, known as the Chateau Marmont. Anybody from Los Angeles or Hollywood or Beverly Hills probably know what I'm talking about. The Chateau Marmont, where a lot of well-known elitist celebrities go to just to go berserk, is what all I could say. Just ongoing debauchery. And of course, we already know a lot of things which popped up when Hunter's laptop first came into being back in 2020, just right before the 2020 election. And of course, which we all already know also from 2019, when President Donald Trump got impeached, which we all know, President Trump had a legal phone call. I repeat, a perfectly legal phone call with President Volodymyr Zelensky, because Zelensky had asked President Trump that he would like to buy some of our javelins from us, which Trump had the right to sell to our allies. But what got President Trump impeached for was he only simply asked what was going on with Hunter. He did not ask Zelensky to dig up dirt on Hunter. or Joe. All he asked what was going on with Hunter. Why was he working with a corrupt Ukrainian energy company, which he had zero experience with, and had no business being on its board, and was receiving millions of dollars a year just to be on the board? And then once Joe Biden declared his presidency, that he was running for the White House, that's when Hunter had to step down from the board, knowing he couldn't be on the board the second his father declared his run for the White House. Of course, the book does mention Burisma, and also gets really interesting from all the stuff we've learned about Hunter. As we all know, one time he went to a strip club, which was not far from the White House, back when um, back when his father was still vice president, or back when his father was still vice president, or way after that. He had apparently got a stripper knocked up, and and then the stripper had tried to sue him for child support, and Hunter's excuse was that he was broke. I know that's not true, because we know that Hunter had used the power of his father's office when he was vice president during the Obama years to do shady business dealings, foreign lobbying, foreign business dealings, all sorts of stuff, which he would use Air Force Two to travel to some of our to some of the countries that were our enemies. China was one of them, Russia, and another country that was our ally. That would be Romania. We don't know why he was working with the Romanians, but then learning about using his father's office to get him on the board of Burisma, because the book does mention that too. And then, of course, another thing that we all knew a long time ago, back in 2015, when Joe Biden's eldest son, Beau Biden, died of brain cancer, and not knowing that not knowing that Joe was trying to get a waiver for Hunter to join the Navy, even though he was already 42 at the time when his brother had passed away. And the reason for the waiver was because, well, not just because of his age, but when Hunter was 18, he at one time got in trouble for possession of cocaine, and somehow his father managed to get that expunged, uh, which is very kind of shady. And so when that happened, Hunter joins the Navy, and then recently gets kicked out of the Navy because he failed a drug test, of course, being tested positive for cocaine in his system, which got him kicked out of the Navy. And Hunter's excuse was that someone had given him cocaine-laced cigarettes. We know that's a lie, because Hunter has been known to be on cocaine a lot. Joe knows Hunter's been on drugs, and he's talked about it. Now, Biden has said that he has already gone clean already, and is no longer on drugs. I know that's a lie, because a few months ago during the summer, that Hunter's phone had been hacked, still showing him doing drugs. He's smoking crack, and then in one video that he had recorded on his phone, he's in a hotel room arguing with a hooker, trying to sell him cocaine, and he's got a little scale weighing it, because he's trying to get the hooker to sell him the crack a lot cheaper. And then, of course, we see him on camera with prostitutes. Apparently, at one time, the prostitutes were traveling from wherever they were coming from to a hotel that Hunter was staying in New York, in which they filmed themselves that they were on the train, telling Hunter that they were on their way, and sending it to his phone, letting him know. That was on his phone. Now, it doesn't mention on the book. What I'm saying right now was what what was found on his phone when his phone got hacked, and it was uploaded to a website called 4chan. And then, of course, there was another one. Oh God, I was just really disgusted that he went skinny dipping with some random woman. I don't know if it was with his current wife or with someone else. I don't know. He sets his phone right there on the sand, and we see him stripped down, literally stripped down. He turns around, bends over. We see his butt. We see his butt, but they had to blur it out when this was uploaded online. And we see him going into the water, and right away comes right back out because it's freezing cold, and he's covering his junk while he's running back and all that. But back to the book now. One of the things we do know that let's see, I'm trying to remember the name of his first wife. I'm trying to remember the name of his first wife. I know it talks. I know it's in the book. Let me look really quick. It does mention those around him. Or is it at the end of the book? Okay, here we go. Right here. Sorry about all this. Okay, I'm trying to look for the name of his first wife. Let's see. You got Joe. Okay, Kathleen Biden. Kathleen Biden was Hunter's first wife. Apparently, their marriage was just going downhill for some time because Kathleen Biden had accused Hunter of cheating on her. And then, like I had mentioned about Hunter's older brother, Beau Biden, which is the current president's oldest son that died of brain cancer in 2015, he started messing around with Haley Biden. That would be Beau Biden's widow. And if I remember correctly, again, I know I should have had notes prepared for this. I think both Kathleen and Haley were both on drugs along with Hunter. And of course, filmed themselves doing homemade porn videos and uploading them onto Pornhub. So yeah, Kathleen Biden knew that Hunter was cheating with his late brother's widow, literally screwing around with her not long after Beau died, because Hunter was just down in the dumps about losing his brother, and that his own sister-in-law was the only one that understood him and comforted him, and that's when things got really freaky with them both. And of course, Kathleen later finds out and actually admits to their kids, Hunter and Kathleen's kids, telling them that their father was screwing around with their own aunt shortly after Beau died. And of course, like I said, he ends up getting a local stripper pregnant. And like I just said, he gets a stripper pregnant while still married, and of course claims that he's broke, which is not true, like I had mentioned before, and he's trying to figure out how to pay for the child support. I haven't heard nothing else from that since that incident. And then of course, another thing about this book. I forget what in one of the chapters, Hunter does admit with some of his own faults, but he's been through. I mean, he admits to a doctor, or I think a doctor that's a psychologist. He admits that he has a real screw up. He actually admits that, and yet he still does it to this day. Look at what we've learned so far within this past year, especially within the last few months before the 2022 midterm elections. He admits he's a screw up. He knows he's got himself in some serious trouble. And his own father, that would be Joe, knows that. He knows his son's a screw up. And one of the things he also does admit to this same psychologist, which we all know along, he does admit that his father does have dementia, which we've all suspected for a long time. We know that Joe Biden has been cognitively challenged, not mentally challenged, cognitively challenged. At least Hunter admits about his own father, knowing how he's all up, how he's all up not and how I'm sorry, I don't know why my tongue's twisting. That Joe is not all up there, is what I'm saying. And then of course, in one of the chapters, which of course we're getting on the board of Burisma, using his father's office as vice president to get onto the corrupt Ukrainian energy board, which Hunter has zero experience knowing anything about the oil company. And then, of course, the next chapter, as we all know, is Joe and Hunter's business with the Chinese, the Chinese Communist Party. How Joe has been friends with uh well the current Chinese president Xi Jinping. Well, actually, Joe and Hunter knew Xi Jinping before he became the Chinese president. I forget what kind of political post President Xi had before he became president at all. And then, of course, as we all know, Joe is compromised. He's bought and paid for by the Chinese. He's a total puppet to the Chinese government. And there was one quote that Joe does admit, which is, quote, "I'm your guy. Therefore, as all of us Americans know, Joe is compromised. He's bought and paid for and a complete puppet of the Chinese." So he admits in this book, which came from Hunter's laptop, that Joe has been compromised and working with the Chinese. And now that he's president, instead of not really giving a damn about us, he's mostly been giving a damn about himself, his family, and then of course Hunter. And we all know that he's the big guy in all of this. He's been getting a 10% cut from whatever Hunter's been doing. And just recently, this past week, now that the new Republican Congress has control of Congress, they have already said they're going to start conducting investigations into Hunter and Joe Biden and the entire Biden family. Just how much compromising other dirty dealings he's had with our foreign enemies, which is with the Chinese, with the Russians, and of course, being on the board of the Ukrainian energy company Burisma. We haven't gotten that many answers so far, because we know the FBI has Hunter's laptop, and they've been holding it for a long time. They won't discuss it. They've been saying it's all Russian disinformation. They've been saying it's been a conspiracy theory. Well, now that things have gone so bad right now, what they've learned, yeah, they're finally, a lot of people, including the media, are now admitting it. So they know that there's something wrong, and we want answers to what's going on. If I had any advice for Joe Biden, that would be for him and his son to start lawyering up with their own lawyers, because Hunter's going to be the first thing on the menu. I mean, Donald Trump was ridiculously impeached, illegally, of course, just over a phone call, because Zelensky wanted to buy some of our weapons. Like I said, Trump had the right to sell some of our javelins to the Ukrainians, which Trump had the right to do, but then, of course, what got him in trouble was just simply asking what was going on with Hunter. That was it. He did not ask Zelensky to dig up dirt on Joe and Hunter. Only asking, once again, Trump was only asking what was going on with Hunter and his role with Burisma. That's it. And then, of course, another thing we also learned about a few months ago, I think that what was also mentioned in the book as well, Hunter has been accused of tax evading, and then, of course, lying on his background check when buying a gun, which of course the book does mention it, because Hunter at one point, his current wife, that would be Haley Biden, she thought that Hunter was going to go on a violent rampage with her, and she knew that Hunter had a gun that was kept in his car. So what does Haley do? Takes the gun, throws it in a dumpster behind a grocery store not far from a high school. So two things. Hunter lies on his background check, which was asking him if he was on drugs. He says no, which we all know that's a lie, because Hunter's been in trouble with having drugs in the past, and of course he's still on drugs. And yet he doesn't get in trouble for dumping his own piece. Well, actually, his wife dumping his own piece in a dumpster behind a grocery store, not far from a high school, like I said. And yet, nothing happens to either one of them, because if I remember correctly, Secret Service had to go and get the gun, if I remember correctly, or police found it. I don't remember either one. I think the Secret Service was trying to find the gun before anything else, and yet nothing happens. If I had anything to say about this, is that we all know that Hunter's been in real trouble. He's been a mess, and this can't. What's been going on right now is just ridiculous. What we've been learning since this story first popped up back in 2020, right? Just I think a month or two before the 2020 election, which of course, well, okay, let me bring this up. I mean, let me say this. When this story first came up, this was reported by the New York Post. This was posted on Twitter, but Twitter suppressed it and took it down. Because this all started because Hunter had left his laptop at a computer shop to get fixed. But instead, he abandons it. And the computer shop owner that has been interviewed by Fox, he tells all of us that once he started working on Hunter's laptop, he sees everything that was on his laptop that was just out in the open. Everything that was on there, all in the open. What he had done and everything he's been doing along with his father, everything else. And yet, after everything, this poor computer shop owner, he loses his business. He's been threatened just reporting reporting to the feds what was on the president's son's laptop. This book right here should have been, no, well, not the book, but the laptop story should have been the final nail in the coffin for Joe Biden. That should have cost him the election because of Hunter. And look what happened. We already know how this all started. Well, you figure, and then of course we were hit by a pandemic that no one saw coming. And here we are with the current president that should not even be in the White House right now. And look what happened. We already know what happened. We know that our elections were being screwed around, which caused Trump to lose. Trump lost, which I'm not happy about. And of course, the only reason why Biden's there is because it wasn't just Hunter's laptop. It's because of COVID. That's when we had all this mass voter fraud being poured out. We were seeing all these mysterious ballots just coming out of nowhere that they just start pulling out from under the table and then covering up the windows to make sure no one saw anything. And we know our elections were being meddled with. And yet here we are. Biden claims he won 80 million votes, which we know was not true. We know he's not the real winner. He cheated. And here we are. Because not just because of one pandemic that we had to put up with 2 years. It's because his crack smoking son, that should have cost him everything. Here we are right now. And now Biden, he just said not too long ago he's willing to work with the new Congress, but he's already shoved away at the thought that they're not going to find nothing on Hunter. He's saying good luck finding anything on him. Well, here's the thing. Before the 2022 midterm elections, you had one of Hunter's former business associates, Tony Bobulinski, come forward, and then you had a whistleblower whose name is right now being left anonymous. A whistleblower that's coming out anonymous saying, yeah, Joe Biden is the big guy. He's been getting 10% from whatever Hunter's been doing. And of course, all this stuff that Hunter's been accused of. So let's see what happens at the beginning of 2023. Let's see where it all takes us, because this is just utterly upsetting that we have a president who's just really mentally unfit. He's the one that's really mentally unfit to be in the White House. He's cognitively challenged. He's dementia driven, which I've mentioned in the book, which Hunter admits. So let's see what happens within the coming months. Because if anyone needs to be impeached right now, it's going to be Joe, and it's because of his son. That's why. And here's another thing for all you fellow conservatives out there. I'm pretty sure we can agree on one thing. After all the lies and all the BS about how Donald Trump was saying that Donald Trump was the national security threat, knowing that's not true, when in fact Hunter is the national security threat. Everything he's been doing for the past few years, leading up to this moment, is was putting our own security completely at such a high risk. And yet his father's president, and how much the president's family, the entire Biden family, have profited from whatever Hunter's been doing. And look at us right now. Look at our economy. It's just bad because of this administration. And yet, day after day, we keep learning about all new things coming from Hunter. It's just really insane. All right. I want you all to think and tell me what you think of this book. Comment below what you think about this book. I mean, look at this book. I mean, he looks like a total mess. Laying on his bed, full beard, with a cigarette in his mouth. Right here. See that? He's a mess. And yet, from what I also learned, Hunter has gone to get help to get off his drugs, but yet, of course, he takes photos of himself while in rehab, and he's still doing drugs. And then you gotta wonder, what kind of grown man would do stuff like this on his phone? Well, it's simple, because his father has a tremendous political power, and he thinks he can't be touched. It doesn't matter. We're all human beings. Of course, he's got to learn to live up to his responsibilities. But as long as his father has been a well-known political figure and a political elitist in Washington, D.C., he thinks they're immune. They think they're above the law. They think they're untouchable. They think they can't be touched. So we just have to pray to God. Hopefully justice is served to Hunter. This madness can't go on. So tell me what you think about this book review. Comment below. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell beside it. My Instagram is at Sergio Becerra 2. My TikTok is at Sergio Becerra II. My email is sergiobecerra26@yahoo.com. All right, my fellow patriots and fellow constitutional conservatives, This wraps up for this video. Take care now. God bless you. Bye.